Any other? Oh, yes.
Yes, thank you, President Curry. If looking at the budget, I'm looking at the expenses in the trash fund on 427.451 vehicle maintenance, and then 427.452 on. I'm sorry, yeah, that's right, on vehicle leases. I asked this question in finance administration and also sent this to all council as a question. We had budgeted 130,371 in 2023 for 2024 for vehicle leases. We spent 9,700. The question I have with that is that the other leases hit the general, the cost of those leases then hit the general fund. I don't remember us acting to have that happen. And if it did happen, that's something that needs to be paid back to the trash fund. That those are garbage trucks. That's if we're doing this 20% funding, then 80% of the funding should be then being paid back to the trash fund. Also, in the coming year, we have 81,000 with the lease. We're on the agenda tonight. We have an item to purchase a used garbage truck for $125,000. Now, I could have missed that meeting, but I remember us discussing that prior in council for that purchase. Again, the motion for that is to take that out of capital reserve and then to pay for it. I understand that if these trucks last a few years and that perhaps we don't need to pay back 125,000 straight, but I would suggest to the council that one of the things that we do is we set up a 5-year payment plan to do it's 125,000. If we're going with this 20% is going to the general borough, then the other 100,000 gets paid over the 4 years with the sanitation fees that go out. Now, to be clear for all the public, and so there's understanding about it, much like the sewer fund, this is a fee-based system that our general taxes, real estate taxes, EIT, go into the general fund. The sanitation fee is something that is a user-based system. There are, I think, 3,934 dwelling units that pay into that. And there are several larger buildings, apartments, condos, et cetera, that do not use the borough sanitation services. So I would just recommend that we, when passing, if we pass, when we vote to pass, if we pass that purchase of the sanitation truck for $125,000 out of capital reserve, that we also put in there a provision for repaying 80% portion back to the sanitation fund. Respectfully, I believe that what we're doing is that we're borrowing and hollowing out the general fund and hollowing out the capital reserve through fees that are going to increase each year. That since I've been on council, they have increased each year. This is a general state of inflation and also with the tipping fees with the county. And the more we keep going back to this well, the more that we're going to be hollowing out that fund. I also believe it's a backdoor tax on individuals who do not use the fees. I think it's inappropriate to do that. I think it's inequitable to do that, to charge people for using something they don't use. It's akin to me going to the restaurant, ordering a meal, and then sending the bill to your table. I just don't think that's an appropriate thing for homeowners to expect of people who are renting in apartments and also in the condominiums. It's just a difference of opinion that we have on it, and you have to, the rest of council has to make that choice. This is the first time that I've been on council that we have not had the fees raised because of that general understanding of what the fee versus taxes. And I think this is setting up a very dangerous precedent in which we're putting a burden on others that's inequitable to our system of government. So you may disagree with that. That's fine. Respectfully, that's where that 20% comes in. And I completely understand if we're going to set up that 20%. In this, though, it just belies my comprehension that we're not charging sanitation trucks to the sanitation fund. Because 80% of that usage is for just that, which is sanitation. It's not being used by those individuals. In terms of a regressive tax, it's not regressive at all. It's actually progressive to have a fee-based system in which people who are using it are paying for it. What is regressive about it, is even progressive is that you do have it per dwelling unit, that you might have a family of 5 or 6 that is always going to be using more than a family that has 1 or 2. That's where the progressive nature of it comes in. Now, I understand the issue of like fees going up for folks who are fixed incomes and who bought houses and are retired. And I completely agree with you, Ms. Connors, that there are other boroughs that do have a weight-based system, or they do have a can-based system that we don't have. And that is something that I do think we need to look at in the future to try to fix it. Now is not the time. Now is the time with the budget in front of us. And I would go back to that point of if we're going to purchase a vehicle, $125,000 out of capital reserve, that we have a means of paying that money back. But we can go back and forth for another few hours.
Of course.
Just a quick comment to follow up Mayor Magda's comment. I want to thank Sergeant Miller and all the police department for the work on the winter parade. Yourself as well, just the amount of time and effort and energy put into also contribute to it, and also the Lansdowne Fire Company for going around last weekend and doing their annual sirens throughout Lansdowne. It makes a lot of people's days, and it's just a wonderful thing this time of year to have all the festivities take place. So thank you, Chief, and thank you for conveying all of that to our officers. Respectfully, my response is that my duty as a council member to Lansdowne is to all of the members of Lansdowne, and by the definitions that we have in the state of Pennsylvania and in the United States, that the recognition of discrimination. There was an oath that we heard tonight that you cannot discriminate based upon national origin or ancestry, that there is a state of Israel. The state of Israel exists. The state of Israel maintains half the world's Jewish population, and the denial of the state of Israel has been defined repeatedly as being a form of anti-Semitism by numerous institutions. That's my response, and I will continue to pursue that we follow the law for all residents and citizens in Lansdowne. Chris Curry, if I may. Mm-hmm. In the context of the discussion of the Hanukkah event, which I plan to bring up in public comment tonight, as well as the menorah event. It was in context of the same discussion of the winter parade with the LBPA and the Christmas tree lighting and other holidays, which there was no discussion, there was no intrusion, and I will go back to the point that I made before, that a particular viewpoint is being politicized in Lansdowne. We had wonderful press on the fact that this is the first time that there was a menorah lighting in Lansdowne, and the first Hanukkah event that there is. By all means, any individual who wishes to, I did not have any Lansdowne resident send any email or request to take part in it. And in the thank you that I'm going to give during the public comment, I will discuss the individuals who did take part in the committee and who did volunteer to sponsor the event. So I'm more than willing to have conversations with anybody. But I do think that we have a public obligation still, when there has been a particular viewpoint espoused in the community that is one that is egregiously problematic for many citizens. That viewpoint, it follows the law. That, as I stated last year, that individuals in the community are allowed to have biased, prejudiced viewpoints. They're allowed to espouse biased and prejudiced viewpoints. We cannot govern from them. I plan to continue to govern from the law. Will be in economic development and planning, and I believe in public safety as well. It is economic development and planning. It falls under the Department of Economic Development in the state. Thank you. Yes, like to revive the objection to the trash fund and our request that we change the amount for the vehicle fee.
So you're asking for an amendment to
Yeah,
this motion?
I would move to amend the budget line item 2527. Sorry. That was my done. Here it is. I'm sorry, 427.452 under the vehicle leases. And move that with the idea that we are going to capture some of the cost of that new used sanitation truck and move the vehicle leases to 91,000.
Second.
No,
sorry.
yes, Ms. Collins has
I'm
to.
sorry.
Are you accept that?
I do not accept that amendment.
Okay. So we're gonna go with the,
So Mr. Griffin is seconding the amendment and now we have to vote.
No,
No.
so she's made the motion. Your request is for her to amend her motion. If she doesn't agree, then the motion.
Yeah,
goes
she
Now the
forward.
motion seconds under Robert's rules and then the all council gets to vote on it. So
But
that's
she hadn't accepted the amendment yet.
correct. So now we're voting on the amendment, whether or not to add it and overruling her decision.
I
Yeah,
believe that's
no.
correct.
What's that?
I'm sorry. I believe that's how we've done it in the past.
That's Robert's rules. So the maker of the amendment, if it's a friendly amendment, if she accepts it, it's a hostile amendment if she does not accept it, and then it's added to it.
So are you seconding the hospital amendment?
I don't want to call it hospital. I'm seconding. I'm seconding the amendment to hear the discussion.
Okay.
all right, so it was seconded. Any discussion?
Discussion, and what was that line item? You said 427.
427.452 under the vehicle leases. To give justification and for the record, that we have neglected to pay the vehicle lease in 2024 with the 9,700, which that's neither here nor there. I still have not had an answer from council when that authority took place. I don't think the authority took place, so we've been doing this inappropriately all year, not paying it from the last authoritative vote on that would have been on the budget of 2023. But on this year's, what I'm suggesting is that rather than continue to haul out the capital reserve with that cost, is that we repay the capital reserve. We would have to then amend the budget to allow for that payment to go back in. And so I'm suggesting that we start off with 91,000. The full cost would be 100,000. So we're to do over 10 years, 10,000 a year that's paid back in. It's not a huge impact, but it also is returning that money to the capital reserve and keeping our funds segregated as they ought to be from a capital reserve fund, a sanitation fund, a sewer fund, and keeping the costs located in those particular areas.
So
I just need clarification. You're just saying change vehicle leases 427.452 to what number?
To 91,000.
Not 100,000.
It says 81,000 right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm suggesting we just do 10,000 a year over 10 years.
Okay, so you're suggesting that just gets changed.
I mean,
to
or we
91,000.
could figure out the payment plan after. It could be 10,000 this year and go up to 30,000 each of the following year. That's
Right.
for the purpose of this budget for 91,000.
So are you saying that because in 2024, but the first line, green, we budgeted in 2024 for 130,371. But we actual projections for 2024, we actually only paid $9,700.
Yeah, so that's from last year's budget is what
Right.
I'm saying, is that last year's budget, we should have been paying full on that lease. We didn't out of that particular fund. It
Okay.
was paid out of general fund, I'm assuming, Nobody, I don't remember ever authorizing that. The last authoritative vote that we had to give authority for that money to be used was when we passed the budget in December of 2023. That money should then been spent in that way unless otherwise changed by council. I don't believe that we ever changed that as council, so we have not paid that fund. That's water under the bridge at this point. What I'm saying, I mean, it should be rectified. I think we should take a vote to actually authorize that if that's what we're doing. Or that we should pay that that money back as well. But in the meantime, for this budget for 2025, that we change the 81,000 to 91,000. So
And that
And for
10,000
next
is
year's-
for the purchase of the used truck,
correct. Yes,
which is a separate motion, so you will be amending that motion, I guess.
yes, I'd be amending that motion as well, but
Okay.
this is sort of like
Sorry, I just
cart
wanted-
before the horse
Yep.
type of thing.
I just wanted to be clear, so this
Yeah.
is the only change, changing this 81,000 to 91,000 to include 10,000 towards the purchase of the used vehicle.
But the 10,000 will come from the general fund.
No,
No,
not
I'm
from
sorry,
here.
it's coming from the
Not from here.
sanitation fund back to the general fund.
Yes, okay.
Now, are you still good with the
I'm
second?
sorry, back to capital reserve.
Are you still good with the second?
It's been discussed in
been
finance for.
discussed.
You just missed the
It's-
last meeting.
But I would say it's also been changed. I mean, that this is not what we looked at in we had this item, vehicle maintenance was zeroed out in finance. So this has been changed from the last finance, and I would also
And then you
say,
brought it to our
excuse me,
attention
I'm
and we put
speaking.
it back in.
excuse me, order please.
I'm just saying that we listened to what you said and we.
Excuse
put it
me.
in.
Hold on one second, let Mr. Hover finish, please.
So under the general fund, these blue numbers have all been changed. That's the thing, is that from finance to present day, these have been changed. And that's the point of the council proceedings as well, is 3 people don't make a decision, that 7 people make a decision. And so what I would say, and to agree with you, Councilman Griffin, last year, we began the budget discussion in August, and we had specific special meetings just on the budget. And I would recommend in 2025 that we do just that and have special meetings, because this is a lot to digest in one meeting at the end of the year to come up with these ideas. And I would say that, again, general discussion towards the budget, I think that we're setting ourselves up and setting a precedent that we shouldn't be doing. Other communities are also discussing the same issue. Once you start mixing and matching the taxes and fees and you don't keep it a strict segregation between all of them, now you've muddied up the budget and you end up having people paying for things that they don't use. And I believe the term that Mr. Scott has used in the past, that we do open ourselves up and we're vulnerable to a lawsuit by an individual if they see that we have made this deliberate action to have them pay for something they don't use.
If I could just respond briefly, I understand respectfully, Councilperson Hover's position. But Mr. Scott, our solicitor, has authorized us to put these leases in the general fund, and I will be bound by his decision.
Okay. All right,
There are no leases. First off, there are no leases.
I'm sorry, that's true.
The purchase.
With the purchase of the new
okay.
vehicle.
And
All right, so we're gonna end discussion.
Mr. Cotson's not
Hold on.
authorized anything. Mr. Scott makes-
Hover, we're gonna end discussion, please, discussion.
I'm gonna get on public record because.
Well, I think you already, excuse me,
No,
I
not
think
this
you've
point.
already.
Mr. Scott, it's-
Hover, please,
I'm
please,
sorry,
sir.
Mr. Curry, this is.
Please, sir, please, sir. Please, sir, we want to end the discussion. We've had a lot of discussion about this topic.
It's not about this topic, it's about the point that Mr. Scott's not able to authorize anything. Mr. Scott makes recommendations as a
Can we
solicitor.
vote?
Okay, sir, thank you. So we're gonna move on. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
All right, the motion has passed. Next up, Ms. Pointer.
Motion to approve spending up to $10,000 for an outdoor camera at Veterans Landing.
Second.
Motion has been moved to second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion has passed. Next up, Ms. Pointer.
Okay, 6.
Yeah.
Motion to approve 2025 Arts and Culture Initiative Agreement with the Lansdowne Economic Development Corp. LEDC for 60,000. Did I skip something?
No, you're right.
Okay, for 60,000 plus up to 15,000 in expenses.
Second,
Motion has been moved to second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Curry, I will go back to the point that I made in the presentation and also the memo. to all of council that we're looking at a 100% increase in arts funding. I know this council is concerned about finances and also making sure that we are being responsible fiscal stewards of taxpayer money. We've had discussion that in terms of the ambulance service that we receive, that we go to East Lansdowne and retrieve $40,000 in a fire tax because we feel that we're spending too much on the ambulance service. I can't see having a discussion where we're trying to retrieve $40,000 for a life-saving concern when we see a 100% increase in arts funding. I do agree that the LADC does a lot of great work with the arts, and I believe that that's acceptable. It's a matter of us balancing the priorities of what we see in our residents. We're looking at a 23% tax hike in the county, and I know that the county officials are doing the best job they can with it. We're looking at increases in sewer fees, sanitation fees, and I think that it's an acceptable thing just to go back and to have continuation of the funding that was there for the LADC.
All right,
I'm
any
sorry,
other
we
questions?
did it the last public safety meeting. Yes, I'd like to make an amendment, and I would like to amend that to also include with the provision to establish a payment plan to repay the capital reserve fund. For the record, I move to amend the 417 to 442. I would state again for the record that by not doing this, that we are kicking the can down the road. We're gonna have to increase fees in the future. Those increasing fees will be double the amount that we are not increasing it this year. That's just a standard pass-through fee from the county for the tipping fee. I also would also state for the record that by not doing this, that we're and taking the money from the capital reserve and taking it from the general fund, that we're asking users, we're asking non-users of the sanitation services to subsidize those people who are using it. And I think that is an inequitable policy for this council to maintain.
Do we have a second on this?
Mr. President, sorry. Why do you say double? When you say, if we don't increase now, why do you say, is there a forecast or is there a budget?
Each year it has, I've been on council, it's going up just about by that same increment. So if it goes up 3% this year, most likely would be 3 to 5%. It's always like within that range because of the cost of inflation that the county incurs. And at one point, I mean, with the discussion, because we have to take all of our refuse to the county when there's discussion of building a landfill and getting rid of the incinerator in Chester, that would have increased the fees even more because of the real estate costs of purchasing the landfill and then also doing that kind of work. As it is, the contract they have with Cavana, the incinerator, has kept the fees relatively lower than what they could be. So.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a second on his amendment? All right, I don't hear any, so we're gonna go back to the original motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
All right, the motion has passed. Next up, is it Ms. Connors or Ms. Pointer here?
It's me.
I think it's me.
Oh, okay.
We voted on this.
Motion to approve resolution 2024, fixing the tax rate for 2025.
Hold on one second.
Sorry.
Hold on one second.
Sorry.
Can you please read it again, please?
Yes.
Sorry.
Motion to approve resolution 2024 number to be determined, fixing the tax rate for 2025.
Okay,
Second.
all right, motion has been moved to second it. Any discussion?
Just for the record, Ms. Connors, could you say what that is?
Sure, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Thank you. The mills on each $1,000 of assessed valuation is 7.3039 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation, 0.73039.
Last year.
It is, yes, there's no change from last year.
Just a point of order, this is a question, Mr. Ewald, do we have to do anything with the EIT? Y'all set the EIT rate,
No,
you have the max
It
rate.
continues year to year.
1%.
but we don't need to have a resolution to continue that?
No,
Okay, that's all, that's a question, thank you. Motion to include all borough funding, all sources that receive borough funding, all borough funding as part of the audit.
All sources,
Isn't it always?
It's,
No.
necessary.
so you say sources,
So, yeah, so this includes anything touching borough funding, so tax collector, borough council, fire company, LEDC. All,
okay, that's what I thought, I just wanted to clarify.
Is that standard?
So he wants to include anyone that's touching, if we're sending money out, he wants to include all of those sources in there.
Are you trying to say he wants to include auditing those organizations that receive
the auditing,
funding?
auditing our funding that goes.
Funding that goes-
The fire company,
So it's all, already the auditors audit all of our funding. Right, every account we have. So is this something different than? every
What they
account?
normally do.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
no, I think that you can include if up to a certain amount of money, if organization receives it, there's case law with fire companies that have them. So I think that and then also tax collector isn't always included in that as well.
Does anyone want to second that?
No.
No,
Can I make a friendly amendment, setting aside those who have other contracts? So this is all full-time staff, so there's other,
We took out full.
We took out
oh,
full-time.
you took out,
Yeah,
okay,
full-time,
thank you,
full-time.
sorry.